What's up? It's your boy Sean P back again with another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. Today we have some things to talk about. The game released documentary 3 um, late last night, early Friday morning. And before that, he released his first single from this, which is called No Breaks, which features none other than Drake. And of course, we got, of course, Drake. He's the guy that we can't stop talking about. You know what I mean? He is in every hip hop conversation. And of course, this ties back to the beef that will never end, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. You know, so the narrative is he's dissing Kendrick Lamar. And he brought on Drake to come on there to do a diss record with the two of them to shoot at Kendrick Lamar. The narrative was they were in the studio together in Toronto. I know over the summer or early summer, Game flew out to Toronto to work with Drake on something because he used Drake's OVO plane, I think, to go fly back to Toronto. So they were working together on something. And allegedly, they have a few records going on, maybe something on an upcoming Drake project. But we're going to talk about it. Was this a diss record or not? I'll just put up the banner right now. Was this a diss record or not? Well, we'll get to it. We're going to walk through the song. I'm going to give you my take, what I liked about the song, what I didn't like about the song, do my rating. And then we're going to talk about was this a diss or was this game being game? I listened to the entire album. I'm going to give you like a preview of the full album review. We're going to do a full album review. That's probably going to drop maybe either Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to bring a few people on to go talk about that. But my opinion, I think Game sent an even stronger message on several other songs, on the album. But this is the one that's going to get the headlines because obviously Drake is on here, and is he, blatantly dissing Kendrick Lamar? It's caused a firestorm in hip hop media. People are debating: is it a hit? Is this record or is it not? Well, let's talk about it. Let me talk about the song, and then we'll talk about the aftermath of the record itself. So I'm gonna bring this up. No breaks. And talk about what I like, what I didn't like, and we'll sum it up in the end. Okay, so of course I'm not gonna play it for copyright purposes, but what did I like about this record? Let me get my banner up here. What did I like? I'm gonna put it to you like this. The beat is a straight banger. It's a West Coast bop. I definitely like the feel of it. It reminds me of a YG record. A little bit of a little bit of a mustard knockoff. I don't know who did the beat for this, but it's definitely got a strong West Coast bop to it. Even though I like the beat, it's clearly a play off of a GNX beat. It does seem a little bit copycat, if you will. I think it reminds me of Peekaboo. Reminds me of the Peekaboo beat on Kendrick Lamar's GNX. Nevertheless, though, it is a banger. Like, you definitely move your head to it. You know what I mean? You definitely I like the violins in the background. I think that adds like a little flair to it. You know what I mean? But it is a copycat beat. But you're gonna bop to it. You are gonna bop to it. You definitely will. All right. So outside of that, what what I didn't like um on there, and we'll talk about it. Did I delete that? Um all right, well, anyway, what did I not like on this? Um Drake, not Drake, but Game has some cringe bars on here, dog. He said something like like the kids on on something. I'm gonna let you slide or something like that. Basically alluding to kids sliding down a slide to let you slide or whatever, and it was just uh, it was cringe. And then, are you my 20 twin twin? He said, "Don't try and play like you're my 20 twin twin." It's just goofy, you know. But this is the issue that you have with Game Records is he'll give you fire bars and then he'll just put out some cringe bars all together just to ruin the whole vibe of the song. Like he knows how to ruin a moment, you know. And it just came off as goofy. It was just corny and goofy, right? Then we get to Drake's part, the hook on here. And the spoiler alert in all of this is Drake doesn't say anything. He just says no breaks, no breaks, no breaks, and he whispers it. That's the Drake feature. You know what I mean? And I guess it's effective or whatever, but um it really didn't add anything to the song. Now, if Drake had a real verse on here, this song would probably be fire. You know what I mean? But it's just no breaks, no breaks. And well, I'll get to the whole meaning behind this and why this was done. But it really didn't add anything. It's kind of a little bit of false advertisement. Drake says really 6 words, and it's not even and he whispers the verse like on Whisper My Name in some of the songs that he did, which or Run to Atlanta on Iceman, which I don't really think is effective with Drake, because it's almost like you're trying to personify the fake tough guy shit, you know. But nevertheless, Drake's in his element on this. He whispered the verse or whatever, and that was that. You know what I mean? Um, Now a couple of the bars that that were on it that were questionable were I think it was uh me, Drake, and Drake are like the three amigos. Drake as like a Draco gun, and Drake and Drake, and we're like the three amigos. And I'm not here to pick a side, and if I pick a side, it's homicide. I mean, I'm gonna kill everybody on here. Which all this really did, in the end of the day, is just basically confirm what we've known all along. I could probably tap out of this now because there's not much to talk about with that. But all this song did, you know what I mean, in the end of the day, is confirm what we've known all along. And what we've known since 2024 is that Game basically he picked Drake's side. He went against the West Coast in the beef, didn't go to the pop out, and from his explaining him going to not going to the pop out till now, till taking shots at Kendrick Lamar on his earlier mixtapes this year, all of that, to the interviews saying, I'm the best pound for pound, or nobody can out rap me out of the city of Compton. I'm the best, period. We all see what this was. This was a play up to this moment, you know? But this record, I'm not crashing out about this, and we'll get to the TDE response in a minute. But it kind of was a letdown because people really thought, okay, this is the record. The Game and Drake are kind of gonna spark the beef up again, gonna really take a shot at Kendrick Lamar, and they really didn't. If it did, it landed flat. It just basically confirms what we've known. That Drake, that Game took Drake's side in all of this, and that's who he's riding with. Um, but this is typical Game, you know, and I'm not even like people are outraged about this. I'm not. This is Game. This is who he is. If you remember, Game is this guy that does what he wants and he goes against what everybody else perceives him or wants him to be. Remember, this is the same guy that went against his own label, G Unit, 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo, and said, fuck that. I'm rolling with Nas, I'm rolling with Jada Kiss, I'm rolling with Fat Joe, all the people that G Unit was beefing with. He went against them. So this is not par for the this is par for the course with Game. He does this. This is his MO. And it's the same thing. Like he has a relationship, a personal relationship with Drake. He's not breaking that to go ahead and take the side of, you know, who is the perceived king or the king of the West Coast right now. I don't want to say perceived. You know, at one time he was perceived maybe early in his career, but now Kendrick Lamar is undisputedly the king of the West Coast. So he purposely does that. Now, my personal feeling, why is he doing this? This is, and I'm going to say this on my review, this is typical passive aggressive gaslighting behavior from Game. He's done this throughout his whole career. He wants to start this for attention. He wants the spotlight on him. And instead of just sitting down and putting out great lyrical hip hop and great hip hop, this is what he does. You know what I mean? And he's gone online and he's going back and forth with people and said this is not a diss. I'll show you some of the reaction from TDE in a minute, but I do not feel this is a clear diss record to Kendrick Lamar. I think this is more of a diss record for Drake than Game because it looks like Drake is trying to get points off of this. Like, see, the West Coast loves me. I get West Coast respect and a real West Coast respect because I'm on a song like this. And this is more of a diss for Drake. And my feeling to that is this. At this point, Drake, just start the round two. It's like, look, you've been subbing Kendrick Lamar for 2 years. We just saw your last comment about, you know, before you reply, remember my pen ain't dry. You talked about Kendrick on 80% of Iceman and subbed him. You've been subbing him even going back to the no face record, which is very similar to this no breaks that he's doing. I mean, bro, just do one all out diss record on Kendrick Lamar and say, look, round two is on. I'm not letting it go. Let's go. Now it looks away because you still have an open lawsuit out that caused you emotional depression, emotional distress, and anxiety, and put you in an anxiety disorder because of Not Like Us. But fuck it. I would have more respect for you. You go right at him and you call his name out. But this is, again, the dichotomy in all of this is the shit that makes you look weak too. This makes you look whack because you're afraid to say his name because you know what's going to come with that. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example of what's going on. And the Drake side of things before we explore the TDE side of things. So this is what this song creates from Drake-based media. Now I'm gonna pull up this one guy. I think his name is he's the talk with his hands guy. I think is the rap lab guy, Here he goes talking with his hands and doing his gyrations again. But this is what Drake-based media is using this song as, and is depicting this song to be right now. And I'll show you right here.
Kendrick Lamar and his team are now spiraling after Drake and The Game dropped a brand new song dissing him.
I love how you said they're spiraling. Like, spiraling for what? They're almost going on. Like, this is what, like, Drake fans, this is how, like, a Drake fan thinks. Like, you really think Kendrick Lamar, how many Grammys he's had? The GNX tour, the biggest hip-hop tour of all time, all of that, is worried about a game record that I'm going to let you know right now, it ain't even going to make the top 40 on Billboard. It's going to barely crack the top 100 on the charts, okay? You think Kendrick Lamar is really worried about this? And I'll get to what TDE thinks, but the spiraling narrative is beyond the reach.
For those of you guys that don't know, a few moments ago, a brand new Drake and The Game song ended up dropping, a part of The Game's brand new project.
And this was Thursday night, so that's why they're saying it just dropped a brand new. It's a couple days later.
Called No Breaks. And on this track, there are Kendrick Lamar disses all throughout it, such as the West Coast type of beat. And we do know that this is a diss towards Kendrick because that is Kendrick Lamar's lane when it comes to him making music. And whenever Drake does hop on that, he's usually trying to mock Kendrick Lamar and show that he can do better. And alongside that,
well, this goes back to what I was speaking about how this reminds me of Peekaboo. I don't think it's him mocking more so. I think he's trying to copy and emulate Kendrick Lamar. And my feeling on this, and this is, I'm going to speak more about it when we do the full album review. This dude is jealous as fuck at Kendrick Lamar, man. He's jealous as fuck that he thinks he should be king of the West Coast. I mean, and you see it all throughout. Nobody can out-rap me on the West Coast or out of Compton. I'm the best rapper or the greatest lyricist out of Compton in my head. And I have to say that. But I don't got beef with Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? He has an emotional deal that he deals with that Kendrick Lamar is bigger than him. And I don't know so much it's mocking as this dude flat out is just jealous of this dude. He's just jealous. So yeah, I'm gonna go and try and make the same hit. But bro, this is gonna fall flat. I'm telling you right now, I'll be surprised if it might get like number 80 on the Billboard charts if it cracks that. And it's only gonna crack because Drake is on there. You know what I mean? But it's not even going to be a hit even close to anything on GNX. And this is such a bootleg version of it. You know what I mean? So, but of course, the Drake-based media, this guy's part of Drake-based media. He has to point it out like, oh, this is so detrimental to Kendrick Lamar's career. Like, he's shaking in his boots.
That The Game also then throws a shot at Kendrick Lamar after he wasn't invited to the pop-out concert, with him saying, me, Drake, and Drake, we the three amigos. Circle got smarter than people. If I have to pick a side, I'm choosing homicide.
Which, in the end of the day, no, he could have went to the pop-out. Let's get that out of the way. He clearly could have went to the pop-out. YG went to the pop-out. You know what I mean? But this just confirms he just picked a side and picked Drake versus the West Coast. That's all that this did.
After this song came out, it is looking like Kendrick Lamar and his team are not too happy about this. As you can see right here, NFR Podcast ended up posting that Punch TE, who was a very close friend to Kendrick Lamar, ended up randomly going on Twitter after the song came out with them saying the world's really gone crazy.
Now, here's the whole thing about that, and I'll speak on the whole TDE side of things. Like, this guy's trying to spin it like, oh, the world's going crazy. Like, we're really this record really has some clout. But you could see by that, by the laughing emoji, the world's going crazy because TDE doesn't give a fuck about this. TDE has already come out and said, like, look, we're not going back at game with this. You know, there have been reports already that Kendrick Lamar has said he's not going to go back and respond to Game. There's already been reports that Game and Kendrick Lamar are going to have a talk. They could go in the studio together. Now, I don't believe that, but the attitude from TDE is, look, we know this is Game being Game, and we're not really, looking at this as a big deal. Hitter JT is another one, said that this record is old. This record was done how many, maybe even last year, maybe even in the GNX era. You know what I mean? And Hitter JT is actually in the studio with Game, So TDE is not sweating this. But of course, Drake-based media and of course academics academics and them are already using this as this is their holy grail now to go back at Kendrick Lamar. This is their response to GNX. And it really looks pathetic that a song that is not even that great, you're using as your holy grail to say, see, Drake does get love on the West Coast. This is like another bootleg version of Too Hard for the Radio. It's basically the same deal.
A lot of Drake fans are actually making fun of Kendrick Lamar's team for acting like this. As you can see right here, this person ended up saying the fact that every Drake music tease still triggers an immediate public response from a certain part is extremely telling. It's quite clear who actually won. And then this,
oh, come on, man. So you see what the Drake fans are trying to do. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is it's not a response due to Drake. It's a response due to Game. Game and Kendrick Lamar have been having this quote unquote Cold War feud. And of course, it came out from Stat Quo that this goes back almost 10 years. You know what I mean? And they're laughing about this. You saw the laughing emoji. And the world's going crazy as to here y'all falling for this shit once again. You know what I mean? But of course, this is their moment. Like, Drake fans have to have something to feel like, oh yeah, like we really got one over on Kendrick Lamar. When look, this is just confirmation. Drake is Game is a Drake D rider for all intents and purposes, and we've been known this. This just puts it out in public.
This person ended up saying Punch thinks the world revolves around them, and this person ended up saying the world has really gone crazy, just so many untapped and non-supportive. Nonetheless, though, what is my entire situation? Do you guys think that Kendrick Lamar and his team are crashing out over the song, or is this all a reach? And make sure you guys follow and comment for more content like this.
Yup, it's a reach. And of course, everything they do, they want to tie to Kendrick. You know what I mean? I think a leaked song came out from a new project that Kendrick has, and it was like a mid-tier song or whatever. It was just a feature that Kendrick Lamar. It wasn't even a single or something. And of course, Drake fans go, right, see, this is the shit he wants to put out to compete with Drake. This is going to compete with Iceman. No, it's not. It's a feature on a compilation record, But this is what they want to do to go ahead and put out these narratives out there, like, you know, Drake is really getting one up on Kendrick Lamar. And see, that's the sad thing about it is you see how biased Drake based media is, and they're using random social media posts to kind of get this point across. But let's get back to this whole the lecture at hand. Me, I'm telling you, man, Game has mastered the art of the passive aggressive gaslighting record. To just dance around dissing somebody without formally dissing them. But I don't think this is a diss record. But I think Game is out there trying to get people to talk about this as it is a diss record. I think he showed a burnt out Impala um, on the cover of the single cover, um, which could be a shot at Kendrick Lamar. And Game is denying this is a diss at Kendrick Lamar. And when we talk about the album, he has a lot of passive aggressive shots, like saying, "Yeah, I got love for this guy, but you know something." You know what I mean? I'll save that um, for Monday and Tuesday. I think what Drake said on the Whatever record back in, um, I think back in January on the mixtape with Mike Keys. Now that was a direct shot at Kendrick Lamar, but then he backtracked off of it. He went to say, "I got a lot of love for Kendrick Lamar. There's no beef between us, and he's the real boogeyman, you know. But there's no beef between us." And then when Stat Quo came out with revealing about how Kendrick Lamar felt about Game after he did the 100 video on Compton, Game came back out again, trying to take shots at TDE. You know what I mean? And then, of course, Top Dog had a talk with Game, and everything got squashed again. My feeling is, will Kendrick Lamar respond to this? I think Kendrick Lamar is going to say something on his next album when he drops. He's going to address this. I mean, he addressed Lil Wayne. He addressed Snoop. He addressed how he felt about Snoop after how he somewhat co-signed Tailor Made Freestyle. You know what I mean? And he addressed that on GNX. I do think Kendrick will address this in his own way, but I don't think it's going to be a formal diss record on Game. But in the end of the day, with this feud, this so-called feud, more like a one-sided feud, you know what I mean? Game having his innermost thoughts about Kendrick Lamar. I think he's flat out jealous of Kendrick Lamar. I think he's mad that that should be me in this spot, just like he's obsessed, or at one point was obsessed with 50 Cent because he's jealous of 50 Cent. And if I'm Kendrick, I kind of let it ride, just like 50 did, or basically put it out there how Game is beneath him. You know what I mean? Because Kendrick Lamar has exceeded Game 100 times over. You know what I mean? Um, I just think this should not be a big deal, you know. But I think Game kind of wants the energy back from Kendrick Lamar to maybe do a verse, so Game can really get his moment to really go in on Kendrick Lamar and tell him how he really feels. But I think it is out of jealousy. It is, and it is kind of why he's so tight with Drake. I think he's doing this to antagonize Kendrick Lamar. There's no question about it. And go around the edges without formally dissing him. Like Funeral Man from Torture Talk, I mean, he swears up and down this is a direct Kendrick Lamar diss. And some people may say that. Me, it's just confirmation for me that this is it's whatever. You know what I mean? It's not even a hot song like that. Well, let me go to my album reading right here. Let's go to or song reading. I could find it. All of my yeah, all of my banners are all out of place. So overall rating, um, I'm gonna go with a 6 out of 10. It's I like the beat. Um, I just think that I like the beat of the record. I like the energy of the record, but I just think that it's kind of that's not the right banner. Hold on a minute. Let me get out of here. Um, yeah, yeah, my banner's all screwed up. So yeah, like overall, I give it a 6 out of 10. It's not what people are gonna make it out to be, but I think that I think that people um I think that people on Drake's side is gonna use this as ammo now to basically say, look, you see what Drake did? He's on a West Coast record, another West Coast bop, like Too Hard to the Radio or whatever, and he's dissing Kendrick, blah, 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 and all of this. And with Drake, yeah, I do think it's a little more of a diss for him. Just being on there and trying to have a look at me moment saying, look at me. You know what I mean? Look at me on another West Coast record, going back at Kendrick. But it's like, bro, at this time, just start the round two. Because you're scared to say his name. You know what I mean? Just start the round two. I mean, you missed a big guy with, my pen ain't dry. All right, well, let's see that pen. But I think he's afraid to go with Kendrick Lamar. And you remember, because he remembers that all of that psychological damage and depression and anxiety that Not Like Us caused you. I swear, every time I see Drake now do an attempt or sub somebody or do some sort of diss to a rapper, whether it's Jay-Z, whether it's whoever, all I do is I picture that lawsuit in my head. Like that this dude really cried and bitched that a song, a diss record, caused you irreparable emotional harm to your psyche and all this other shit. And I'm like, I can't take him serious no more. But it's like, bro, just shoot your shot. I'm ready for the round two, but he's not gonna do it. He doesn't want to call his name out there. And as for Game, this is par for the course. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk more about it next week when we do the full album review, because I think there are even more interesting bars that he had on the album besides No Breaks. But you tell me, what do y'all think? No Breaks, is this the banger? Is this something that Kendrick Lamar should respond to? Will he respond to this? Is this the quote diss record that everybody's been waiting for from Game and Drake? What do y'all think? Does this impress you or not? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. We're going to be back with some new content. Definitely want to get to this Game album review. I got a couple other reviews lined up. There's a lot of good hip hop that's heating up. As we're entering now, we're now in the second half of this year, coming close to the fourth quarter. So we will see, and I'll catch y'all a little bit later. All right, peace.